So you're sitting in your room, crying, with your micro penis in your hand because your dollar store Kazuya just got demoted all the way down to Mighty Genbu, and now you're exhausted. Everyone you run into is a gimmick spamming asshole, and you just want to get to play real Tekken, like all of your favorite content creators. How are you even supposed to learn when the environment is this unfair and this toxic? Wouldn't it be better if you could just play the highest ranked players right now and learn from them instead of wading through all this waist deep dog shit? Well, good news, you can send $5 to a guy in Russia and be Tekken God Omega 2 minutes from now. You're in for the promotion of a lifetime. You're also completely fucking delusional and need to find yourself a new hobby, but we'll get to it. In this video, we're gonna dive into this dark underbelly world of Tekken 7 rank hacking together, and it gets pretty fascinating when you look deep into it, so I guess buckle up. But I'm playing on PC these days, and I've started running into some of these cheaters of yours. It didn't take long, but the weirdest one I've seen was a Yoshi guy I matched up with the other day. He would just stand there at the beginning of the first round, spamming the same generic poke over and over again. Then about 20 seconds into the first round, he desynced and disappeared from the match, which meant that I had to sit there staring at a frozen screen for several minutes before I got back to the lobby. But I got back to the lobby and I was immediately offered another match, and this match had no disconnection rate, so I assumed that it wasn't going to be the same Yoshi guy. Turns out it was the same Yoshi guy, and somehow, in the short amount of time we had been apart, he had earned himself a ranked win. Now, this scenario repeated, I think, 5 times in less than an hour, which means that on that day, this person wasted a lot of my time. I didn't know what was happening. I thought it might be a bot that was malfunctioning, but then I saw a new video from JDCR where he encounters something called the 1% hack. And I don't like this name. I hope it doesn't stick, because now that I've looked into it and I understand how it works, it doesn't really have anything to do with percentages. But if you want to see it in action, go and watch JDCR's video. What is happening here is the cheater is using a one-hit kill hack. And what that means is all they have to do is hit you with any move, and they instantly win the entire match, all 3 rounds. They get the ranking points, and now they have what they want, so they just go back to the lobby. Which means that you're going to desync as well. The really confusing part is, on your screen, it's just going to look like you got hit once, but you have plenty of health left, and it's still the first round, but you're still going to have to wait for this person to desync, sit there for a couple of minutes, and then go back to the lobby. This is just one of the many magical things you can do using a third-party software, Tekken 7 Trainer or Editor. Here's one. This is being advertised over social media. There are promos for it that you can watch right here on YouTube. This video is a manual explaining how to use this hack to give yourself any rank you want in the game. So let's go through what is happening. So the cheater here is Heihachi, and he's sitting in the lobby and he was just offered a match. So the first thing to notice is he's being offered by the hack all of this information about his opponent before he takes the match. He matches up against this, I'm going to assume, Spanish guy called Perro de Pelea, and you can see his name, his rank, and his character. And first of all, if that's the only advantage that you're getting, if this is the only way in which you are cheating, it's a huge advantage. It used to be part of the game, it's not anymore, but for example, when I was grinding for Tekken God Prime for the first time, Leroy was a new character, and he hadn't been nerfed at all yet. He was basically unbeatable, and everybody was using him. My experience would have been very different if I could have just dodged all the Leroys, especially if I was the only one who could do it. Or imagine just playing Tekken normally today, but you have the ability to dodge all of your bad matchups, all the Smurfs, all the players you've played in the past who you don't want to play again. It's a gigantic advantage, but in terms of cheating, we're only getting started. So he takes this match, and you can tell it's a promotion match, even though he hasn't played on this character before. He's used a hack to make it so that every single match he plays is always a promotion match. He's also set his desired rank to Divine Ruler. He's currently Genbu. Divine Ruler is a much higher rank than Genbu. If you're peaking as a player at Genbu right now, it's going to take you a long time before you can sustain Divine Ruler. It's going to require you to become a different, higher class of player. But he wins this match and he gets instantly promoted all the way up to Divine Ruler by winning a single match. Now, the thing I took away from watching this video is I think we are all playing cheaters a lot more often than we realize, because you can use these tools in really subtle ways that are extremely difficult to detect. If all you're doing is getting this player information before the match starts, who's gonna know? But it is a huge advantage. And JDCR kind of brought up a hypothetical situation like this. Say, for example, you and I are playing online, and it's a close match, and it goes to the final round, and the next hit is probably going to kill. If you play fighting games, you've been in this situation a million times. What if I just go to my keyboard, and I press a hotkey, and I give myself automatic low parry? Now I effectively can't lose, because as long as I stand guard all of your mids and all of your highs, I'm impervious to damage, and as soon as you do a low, I'm going to automatically parry that and take the round. Now, I was getting hit by lows earlier in this match, so there's no reason for you to assume that I'm cheating. It's just going to look like I'm clutching this out with a hard read, which is something that happens in real matches all the time. So, who's going to know? Hey, look, it's a tweet. Fuck my life. Leading up to Season 4, the developers of Tekken promised to be more actively banning cheaters. And here's a question, and this is a genuine question, it's not rhetorical, I want an answer to this. Does anyone have an example, an actual example of a cheating player being banned in this game? I have never heard of it actually happening. Does it happen? Can it happen? If it can happen, and it does, how, when, and who does it happen to? Can you appeal a ban? Is there even the shadow of a shred of a process in place for dealing with these things? Cynical assholes like me will say that there's no reason for Namco to really worry about banning cheaters this late in the game's lifespan because it's not going to impact their bottom line. But I read a study that suggests that if you encounter cheating in a video game, you're then 48% less likely to purchase DLC in that video game. And if that's true, then Namco definitely care about this. I guess maybe they're just too incompetent to know what to do. Luckily, they never talk to us about anything, so we don't have to worry about it. Do you want to buy a chin? It's Polish. Chances are there are a bunch of cheaters actually watching this video, and I just want to say that I get it, you know? This game can drive you insane, and the world in general is like unfair and painful, but I don't think it gives you the right to be a source of additional suffering in others. And I know that suffering might sound like a strong word, but don't underestimate the impact these games have in the daily lives of people, and don't underestimate the impact that your individual instance of cheating might have. And this is something that I don't think people think enough about or understand. The point economy of a ranking system, it's really quite interesting. In Season 2, there were small changes to the ranking system, but the resulting rank inflation was massive. And that's proof that this ranking system is actually extremely sensitive to change. But how does it actually work? Well, think about it this way. If we're playing above Fujin rank, so Raijin and up, every time I win a game, I gain as many points as I lose when I lose a game. So it's just players trading these symmetrical chunks of points. But how can there be enough points for all of these people to be high-ranked players? Well, the system also generates additional points, because when you play at Fujin and below, you gain more points for winning than you lose for losing. So there's a net gain of points being injected into the system when a match is played, and then those points sort of bleed out into the rest of the system. Additional points can also be generated when somebody creates a new account and starts playing, and they can be subtracted from the system when somebody stops playing or deletes an account. Well, what if, for example, let's do some hypotheticals here. You make a new account and you use cheating to make sure that you win all of your matches all the way up to Tekken God Prime. How many points are you sort of parasitically sucking from all of these other accounts onto yours from the system? Well, I counted it up. It's 193,000 points that you are absorbing when you cheat in that way, which is a lot. If you go all the way up to Tekken God Omega, it's 276,000 points. The flip side of that, another hypothetical situation, what if you create a new account and you instantly boost yourself to Tekken God Omega, and then you start playing at that rank? Now you have artificially created 276,000 ranking points out of thin air and just injected that into the system. Now, I don't know if you know how money printing works in the real world, but that is the literal textbook definition of resource inflation. So, cheating is probably happening more than we assume, and it probably has larger impact than we might think. But what do the people responsible have to say about it? Well, this week I've been on all the forums, all the places where people trade these things, sell these things, talk about them, you know, how to install them and so on. And it's really fascinating, the rationalizations they come up with to defend their behavior. There's like some serious Orwellian doublethink going on. One I heard a lot was people describing themselves as anti-heroes who are just trying to expose the flaws in the system to show how easy it is to cheat, and then they lay the blame entirely at the feet of Namco, which is hilarious because if people like you didn't exist in the first place, then those structural weaknesses wouldn't be weaknesses or a problem. It's not a chicken or an egg situation. You came first, and then you didn't have the courtesy to finish her off. Another one I saw a lot was I actually deserve to be a high-ranked player, and I really can get there if I want to. I just don't have the energy or the time to grind all the way there, and the balance is so bad that I shouldn't really have to, which is like, cool story. Your lack of character is so palpable that it's going to put me off my lunch, you parasite fuck. But the one that really blew my mind and my balls off was on one of these videos advertising one of the hacks. Only one person stood against the darkness in the comment section and actually questioned the morality of what was going on. Everybody else, by the way, was just excited and trying to buy this thing. But one person said, you shouldn't be doing this. And the creator of the hack replied defending his product, and what he said sort of blew my mind a little bit. Now, I have to be clear, I am not trying to go after this person. I'm not encouraging anybody else to do it, because I get it. He's also just a person out there who's trying to put his skills to use to make a buck, to eat. He's hustling, and at least part of me has to respect that. I do think the reply is interesting, though. Let's have a look at it. Or maybe I'll just read you an excerpt because it's quite long. By using a higher rank, you can face higher level players, thus increasing your experience and skill. With my tool, you can start at the level you want, eliminate trauma, remove barriers, and just have fun playing Tekken. It does not affect the experience of playing the game. Now, do I really need to break down how twisted and insane that is? Eliminating trauma. What about causing trauma? What about fucking Perro de Pelea? A person out there in the world who sat down to play a video game that he paid money for. He got a promotion match to Overlord on his Dragunov and was probably excited. And then he ran into you. and you stole his points and his promotion and his energy and his time. When you're doing this, you are stealing time and effort from people. Yes, it's just a dumb video game, but you're stealing time and energy out of the real lives of real people. That is why it's not okay. And now this person who was used by you is being used to promote this cheating hack that you used against him so that he can sell it to even more cheaters, you know? And he might not ever know what happened in the first place. Think about the thousands of people who are going to go through the exact same thing because of what you've done. It's like you can defend and moralize your actions when you look at it in the microcosm of your own personal struggle with the game, but you're pissing on the hard work of thousands of others. It took me like 6 years to go from beginner to max rank capable player in this game. And now I can actually do it pretty easily because I learned how along the way. And now it's mine forever, and it feels pretty great. I recommend that way of getting the rank instead. If Namco really do lack the tools to deal with this, I think the very least we could ask from them is some sort of report feature. So many people all over the world are recording gameplay all the time now that it would be pretty easy to produce undeniable proof that someone is a cheater, at least in the most blatant cases, and we could get rid of some of the worst offenders who use these hacks. The cheaters who are being more subtle about it, who aren't being dumb, who are a little bit more sly and clever, I don't know what we can do about them, but I'll say this: if they ever end up in a 1st to 10 against a player who actually earned their high rank, the proof will be in the pudding, and I hope they choke on it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys again very soon.